I was 12 years old the first time I said it. 12 years old, and I'd been through 6 foster homes in 4 years. Mrs. Patterson was folding laundry in the kitchen, my laundry, which was weird because nobody ever touched my stuff. And I walked in needing lunch money for the field trip. The words just came out. "Mom, can I have—" I froze. She froze. The towel in her hands dropped to the floor. Her eyes filled with tears, and for one horrible second, I thought I'd ruined everything, that she'd send me back like the others, that I'd crossed some invisible line that foster kids aren't supposed to cross. But then she smiled, this broken, beautiful smile, and whispered, "Say it again." I couldn't. My throat closed up. Because here's what you need to understand. I'd learned a long time ago that loving people was dangerous, that calling someone mom was the fastest way to get your heart shattered when they decided you weren't worth keeping. And Mrs. Patterson, she was about to find out just how unkeepable I really was. Hold on. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button and smash the like. Comment below. Would you risk your heart to call someone mom after 6 rejections? Because what happens in the next 48 hours will change everything. The police are coming. A secret from my past is about to surface. And Mrs. Patterson's tears, they're about to turn into something much, much worse. Stay with me. 3 days before I called her mom, a social worker named Gary showed up with a manila folder he wouldn't let me see. He sat across from Mrs. Patterson at the dining table, the same table where she'd taught me to play Uno, where she'd helped me with homework, where she'd let me eat cereal for dinner when I was too anxious to stomach real food. "There's been a development," Gary said, sliding the folder toward her, "regarding Cassie's case." Mrs. Patterson was 52, a widow who'd fostered 17 kids over 15 years. She had this way of listening where her whole body went still, like she was catching every word in her hands. "What kind of development?" Gary glanced at me standing in the doorway. "Maybe Cassie should—" "She stays," Mrs. Patterson interrupted. "Whatever this is, she deserves to hear it." I loved her for that. God, I loved her for that. Gary opened the folder. "Cassie's birth mother has made contact. She's requested visitation." The world tilted. My birth mother, the woman who'd left me at a fire station when I was 3 days old. No note, no name, just a pink hospital blanket and a baby who wasn't wanted. They scheduled the meeting at a supervised visitation center, one of those sad beige buildings with toys nobody plays with, and a 2-way mirror where social workers watch everything. Mrs. Patterson drove me. She didn't have to. Foster parents aren't required to attend birth parent visits. But when I started hyperventilating in the car, she pulled over, took my hands, and said, "You don't have to do this. We can turn around right now." "What if she wants me back?" I whispered. Her jaw tightened. "Then we'll deal with it. Together." Together. Like she was hers. Like I mattered. The woman waiting in the visitation room was 31 but looked 50. Hollow cheeks, shaky hands, track marks on her arms she didn't bother hiding. "Cassie," she breathed, standing up too fast. "Oh my God, Cassie." I didn't move, didn't speak. She took a step closer. "I know I don't deserve. I know I messed up, but I'm clean now, 60 days, and I'm fighting to get you back, baby. I'm fighting for us." Something inside me cracked, not in a good way. Here's what they don't tell you about foster care. Sometimes the system gives parents infinite chances to get clean, get stable, get their kids back. And the kids, we just wait. We live in limbo, unpacking suitcases we're not allowed to fully unpack because any day, any hour, a judge might decide blood matters more than stability. And Mrs. Patterson, she was about to find out just how unkeepable I really was. Over the next 3 weeks, the visits increased, twice a week, then 3 times. My birth mother, Jennifer, brought stuffed animals and gas station candy and promises. "We're gonna get our own place," she'd say, her leg bouncing like a jackhammer. With a yard. You can get a dog. Would you like that? I'd nod because what else do you do? But when I got home to Mrs. Patterson's house, I'd find her in the garden and I'd sit on the porch steps and she'd work in silence, giving me space to just breathe. One night, after a particularly bad visit where Jennifer showed up 40 minutes late, I found Mrs. Patterson crying at the kitchen sink. "Are you okay?" I asked. She wiped her eyes fast. "I'm fine, sweetheart. You don't have to lie to me." She turned and her face was raw. "I'm terrified, Cassie. I'm terrified they're going to take you away, and there's nothing I can do about it." "You could adopt me," I blurted. The silence was crushing. "Honey," she said gently, "Jennifer has parental rights. As long as she's following her case plan, the court prioritizes reunification. I can't." "Then fight harder. Why isn't anyone fighting for me?" I ran to my room, with the bookshelf she'd built, the glow-in-the-dark stars she'd helped me stick on the ceiling, and slammed the door. That's when I heard it. Mrs. Patterson in the hallway, sobbing. What I didn't know, Mrs. Patterson had been fighting. For 8 weeks, she'd been meeting with a family lawyer trying to figure out if there was any legal avenue to adoption. She'd liquidated her late husband's life insurance policy to pay for it. She'd documented every missed visit from Jennifer, every failed drug test, every inconsistency. She'd been building a case. Gary found out and showed up at the house, furious. "You're sabotaging reunification. You're supposed to be facilitating the relationship, not undermining it." "I'm protecting a child," Mrs. Patterson shot back. "Something you'd understand if you spent 5 minutes actually looking at Cassie instead of checking boxes on a form. If you continue down this path, I'll have Cassie removed from your home." I was listening from the top of the stairs. Mrs. Patterson didn't flinch. "Then do it. But I'm not stopping. That little girl has been abandoned over and over, and I will not be another person who gives up on her." Gary left. The house shook when he slammed the door. I came downstairs slowly. Mrs. Patterson was sitting at the kitchen table, head in her hands. "Mom?" I whispered. She looked up, tears streaming down her face. I climbed into her lap like I was 5 years old, and I said it again, "Mom." She held me so tight I could barely breathe. "I've got you, baby. I've got you." Jennifer relapsed on day 73. Missed a visit, missed a drug test, disappeared for 6 days. When she resurfaced, she blamed the stress, blamed the system, blamed me. "If you just tried with me, Cassie," she sobbed over the phone during a supervised call. "If you'd shown me you wanted this." I hung up. Gary scheduled an emergency court hearing. Jennifer's rights were on the line. Mrs. Patterson asked if I wanted to testify. "The judge will listen to you," she said. "You're old enough to have a voice." "What if I say the wrong thing?" "There's no wrong thing, sweetheart. Just the truth." The courtroom smelled like old carpet and stress. Jennifer sat with a public defender, looking small. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. The judge was a woman with silver hair and reading glasses that made her look like someone's grandma. "Cassie," she said kindly, "I understand this is difficult, but I need to know, where do you want to live?" My hands were shaking. Mrs. Patterson was in the gallery, hands folded, face calm, but I could see her knuckles, white, gripping each other. "I want to stay with Mrs. Patterson," I said. Jennifer made a sound, a choked sob. "Can you tell me why?" the judge asked. I took a breath. "Because she's the first person who ever made me feel like I wasn't a mistake. She doesn't make promises she can't keep. She doesn't disappear. She shows up every single day. Every single day she shows up." "And your birth mother?" I looked at Jennifer, really looked at her. "I think she loves me," I said quietly. "But love isn't enough. Love doesn't make you safe." The judge nodded slowly. "Thank you, Cassie." It took 3 weeks for the ruling. Parental rights terminated. Cassie Miller made available for adoption. Mrs. Patterson got the call on a Tuesday afternoon. I was at school in algebra when the office called me down. I thought I was in trouble.
thought maybe Jennifer had done something. Instead, Mrs. Patterson was there, and she was smiling, this huge, uncontrollable smile. She said, "They said yes," she whispered, pulling me into her arms right there in the office. "They said, yes, baby, you're mine. If you want to be, if—" "Yes," I interrupted. "Yes." We both started crying. The secretary started crying. Even the vice principal got misty. I'm 15 now. Legally, Cassie Patterson. We visit Jennifer sometimes. She's in a recovery program upstate. We send letters. It's complicated, but it's honest. Last week, on Mother's Day, I made Mrs. Patterson, Mom, breakfast in bed. Burned the toast, over-salted the eggs. She ate every bite. "Thank you, sweetheart," she said. "Thank you for fighting for me." She set the tray aside,